Catholic school through high school, where he was even a classmate of Regis Philbin. He wasn't a fan. Sorry, Regis. He then served our country for a short time and then graduated from Iona College. As many of you already know, my dad was an incredible man, husband, father, and grandfather. He was so patient and so kind. I often thought that God broke the mold after he made him, because I truly never came across another human being quite like him. He was the ultimate family man. His love for his wife, my mom, was immense. The support and guidance he gave to my sisters and myself was saint-like. He just constantly gave and gave of himself, never expecting anything in return. Growing up, and I know both of my sisters can attest to this, we had many, many friends tell us over and over again how awesome my dad was and how they wish they had a dad just like him. He was always there at every game, every school play, every parents' night, every graduation. If there was something going on in our lives, he was there. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He was born to be a dad. And because of this, I knew he would be an amazing grandpa, just like his dad before him. And his grandchildren were his pride and joy. One of my favorite memories of my dad is I was around 11 or 12 years old, and the school year was coming to an end, and I was watching television in his room, in my mother's room. And he came up the stairs with the newspaper folded back, and he showed it to me, and there was a big picture of Mickey ears. And he asked me how I would like to go to Disney, just the two of us. You see, Erin was graduating high school at that time, and for her graduation gift, she and my mother were going on a trip to Ireland. And even though that in of itself was pretty amazing, it was me that was getting the better deal. A few weeks later, we left for our Disney World trip, a day or two after Erin and my mom left. I felt like royalty. He flew us down on Trump Airline. We didn't like him either. We rented a car, and just the two of us found ourselves in the happiest place on earth, and I definitely was the happiest girl on earth. And I'm not sure how many days we were there. It was probably only 1 or 2. But when we got back to the hotel that night, my dad had a message waiting for him. And we found out that my grandpa, his dad, had passed away. I remember being in the bathroom of the hotel while he was speaking to his brother, my Uncle Jim, on the phone. And when I came out of the bathroom, I already knew what happened. But when my dad told me, I will never forget the look in his eyes and the tone of his voice. He was heartbroken. I felt so terrible for him. I began to imagine what he must have been feeling like. I was very sad. I began to imagine what it would be like if I lost him. He spent the rest of the night making arrangements to leave Florida to go back early to get back to New Jersey for Grandpa's services. And the whole time he was apologizing to me for having to cut the trip short. And I was confused why he kept to apologize for his father's death. And I began to feel more badly about him thinking that he was disappointing me than I felt for the own passing of my grandfather. I began to see what kind of a man my dad really was. I felt even more in love with him. And I was never upset that we had to leave, but I knew that we had to, and that was that. I never saw him cry, although I'm sure he did. And the next couple of weeks were difficult because he was not able to get in touch with my mom or Erin because there was no phones or cell phones or internet at that time. So he had to grieve without his wife, and all the while putting my needs and wants above his own. I'm in awe that he did some point after my grandpa's funeral that he would make this up to me. And I told him that he didn't have to do that, but that's what he wanted, and that's what he did. The following year, he took my sisters and myself on another trip to Disney World. And this is the trip where the famous Summer Wind song came to be. If those of you who don't know that story, it's worth hearing. And this trip set the precedent for every other trip I would take in my life. 7 days of pure happiness spent with my father and my older sisters, and it was all because of him. There are so many other amazing memories I could share with you of my dad, and I wish that I could stand up here and talk to you for hours about what an incredible man he was, but the truth is I don't have to, because you already know, and that's why we're here. It is so hard to believe that this day has come and we are saying our goodbyes. But this is what happens in life. We all have a beginning and an end. And all that happens in between become the memories we leave behind for our loved ones. And my dad did a really good job of leaving us with endless memories and lessons we should all learn from. I began this by saying once upon a time, because my life with my dad has been like a fairy tale. He's like a Disney movie to me. His story starts out sweet and innocent and beautiful, with many things that make you laugh, and then moments that scare you, with lessons to be learned. But somewhere near the end, you feel a gut-wrenching sadness that somehow, some way, turns around and makes you feel happy again. He is gone to be with his bride and his parents and his brother, and all the friends that went before him. We will all miss him dearly, but he has reached his happily ever after. And although this makes us very sad,